Mike's on.
All right, a little after 4. Here's Sandy on his team when he met the media, okay? First of all, the Mets say that Cespedes has a mild strain of the hip flexor and is available to pinch hit. I'm sure they're saying hip flexor. With him, you never know. It could be quad, it could be hip flexor, it could be knee, it could be anything. Here's Sandy. We are still very bullish, but we have to play better than we have over the last 2 or 3 weeks. What would you be bullish? And listen, I'm not trying to pick on the Mets. What would you be bullish about? When you look at that team, other than the fact that you have Syndergaard and DeGrom, who are two very good. They are not great pitchers. If you say great, I'm sorry. Point to Scherzer. You say great. That's great. Okay? Kershaw, Scherzer, Verlander, that's great. Don't talk to me about great with these guys. They're good. They're very good starting pitchers. They're high-level starting pitchers. They are not great pitchers. They have not reached that yet. But when you look at this team, otherwise, what would you look at and point to that you like? The bullpen? No. The 3, 4, 5 starters? No. The lineup? No. You have nothing in this lineup right now. With Frazier hurt, you have 2 guys. Tonight, you know how many guys the Mets start in the lineup this evening that have 20 RBIs? 20. 1. They start 1 player tonight who has 20 RBIs in the lineup. Now think about that. 20 RBIs. That's all we're talking about. 20. I mean, it doesn't make any... And listen, I'm not trying to play... You know, the Yankees have 3 guys that have over 30. They have 1 guy who has 20. The Yankees have 4 guys who have over 25. I mean, the point is, I'm not trying to compare. If you go look at a team that has moderate players, go look at Oakland's lineup. Look at Oakland's players on that team that was just here this weekend. You know that? Go look at these numbers that Davis has. Go look at the numbers that Lowry has. This is a team that, as you know, plays on a shoestring. Is not a really good team. They don't have big-time pitching. But you look at that, and I'm just talking about them because I just saw them. And you look at their lineup. Davis has got 12 homers. Lowry's got 9 homers. Chapman's got 7 homers. Cano's got 6 homers. You go down the line, RBIs, 36, Davis, 36, Lowry. I mean, they got players. And I'm just picking a team. My point is, you look at this Met team, they're anemic. And listen, I'm not trying to pick on Mickey Callaway. He's a new manager. I don't agree with some of the things he's done. The Plevin things that they made no sense to me. Fine. But he's got a team that doesn't score any runs. It's hard to manage this game when you don't get any runs. And you look at that tonight. How can you look at that tonight and feel good about what you're putting out there? Nimmo, Lagares, Cabrera's batting 3rd. Cabrera's not supposed to be batting 3rd. I don't know Cespedes is in the lineup. Wilmer Flores, now he hits lefties, except he hasn't started hitting yet this year. Jay Bruce got no numbers. Mezzarocco has been an automatic out the last 3 or 4 years. Jose, Rosario, I mean, there's nothing here. It has become a dreadful-looking team. Where do they? When you look at that lineup tonight, where would you expect to threaten a pitcher with that lineup? You got to be realistic sometimes. You have to look at it. I'm still bullish. What would you be bullish on? I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be a wise guy. What would you be bullish on in this team other than Syndergaard and DeGrom? You can't be happy with this team. Cabrera's had a nice year, really a terrific year. Thank God they picked up his option. Guy's hitting 329. The next guy in the lineup is hitting 255. That's Cespedes. I mean, listen, I expect Bruce to do something, but right now Bruce has got 3 home runs and 12 RBIs, 14 RBIs. Conforto, I expect him to get going too, but he's not even in the lineup yet every day. Wilma kills left-handed pitching. I mean, that's the MO on him. He hasn't yet this year. I mean, that's the last 2 years he's been one of the best players in baseball against left-handed pitching. So far this year, and he has not gotten off. Against left, he's only been up versus left this year. He's 5 for 32, which is amazingly bad for Wilma, who has just killed lefties overall. The last 2 years, he's been one of the best players in baseball in slugging percentage against lefties. Mesoraco, they didn't have guys hitting anyway, so he's hit one home run, but he's not a hitter. Reyes hasn't gotten the season started. I think Jose will get better as the weather warms up. He did last year. And Rosario hasn't gotten going yet this year either. I think I'm not picking on Rosario. I think you leave him alone and let him play shortstop. He's got to just go about his business. I think he'll pick it up also. But there's not a lot there to be excited about. There really isn't. And I mean, where are you going to get offense from on that team? Your number 3 hitter is Cabrera. Your number 4 hitter is Wilmer Flores. It's just hard to look at that and be bullish. I mean, it really is. I don't know how you'd look at that lineup you put out there tonight and be bullish. All right, let's listen. We have a little sound on Sandy. Let's listen to it. Go ahead.
We're very aware that it hasn't just been Cespedes, but there have been other players as well who've attempted to play through injury. If you recall, in 16, I think it was Cespedes, Cabrera, Reyes were all in a similar situation. So we're very mindful that, at some point, this can't continue. And that's true not just with Cess, but with all of our players. That, we're better off taking a more cautionary approach. So, today I think what we're going to continue to monitor the situation, but he has not shown any improvement over the last couple of days. Now, he's still functional, and this is not a typical, injury where running or what have you is necessarily going to lead to greater injury, but, we are going to be careful.
Would there be a hesitation, unless absolutely necessary, to using him as a pinch hitter tonight, just in case it doesn't improve, so you could potentially backdate a DL?
Yeah, that's a decision Mickey will make, but that's always a consideration. Trading the opportunity in the game for the loss of potential backdates.
Sandy, because it seems you've had already 2 different kinds of seasons this season, the strong start and the last couple of weeks, and we're at about the quarter mark of the season, do you have a handle on the quality of your team right now?
That's a good question. I think that the short answer to that is, I think going into spring training, we felt that maybe this is the long answer to that question. We had, going into spring training, we felt we had a good team, and at the same time, we needed to demonstrate that. Coming out of spring training, I don't think we had demonstrated that, but we still felt the same way. The first 2 weeks of the season was pretty strong evidence of what we had expected of ourselves, and the last 3 weeks have not been the best evidence of where we think we should be. So we're still very bullish, but we have to continue to we have to play better than we have over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Part of that has been schedule. Part of it has been weather. Part of it has been inconsistent play. There have been a variety of factors, but we need to improve over what we've done over the last couple of weeks.
Can I just follow you? You used the word bullish. Bullish, why? What do you see from your experience that makes you feel the next 3 quarters of the season will be better?
Mm-hmm. Well, to start with the starting pitching, I think that we've seen improvement. We've sorted some things out. We're starting to get a little more depth to our starting pitching. But on the other hand, we go to Philadelphia, you get 1 inning out of 2 of our 2 starters. So things have not been routine. think the bullpen has done largely a good job. It's a different sort of pen this year. A number of guys going longer rather than shorter. But I see all of that settling out. So I think that's certainly going to be a positive for us, as we expected it would be coming into the season. We've got to score more runs. When you're not scoring runs, it puts pressure on everybody. It puts pressure on the defense, it puts pressure on the pitching, puts pressure on really the entire game. So we're still very confident in this team. And, I think a lot of people like to point to, where we've been over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we haven't played particularly well. But we're right there.
All right. So Sandy remains bullish. Listen, I just don't know what he's pointing to. They have no rotation behind the big two, and the big two right now, neither one of them has been that consistent. I mean, DeGrom has pitched well when he's pitched, but and DeGrom is a pro. He's a really good pitcher. Syndergaard's got great stuff. He's not yet been the top pitcher. He's been solid. He had a good year last year. He's got a great amount of ability. We know that. The 1-2 punch is there. But they have to perform. This team has no chance if they don't perform. But there's not a lot of firepower on this team. I mean, this team has to have Conforto and Cespedes hitting big. And they haven't had that. I mean, Cespedes' year is not outrageously bad. I mean, he's got 8 homers and 28 RBIs. That's not terrible. You prorate that for 4, and you got a season. So I mean, that's not terrible. But he's got to play. Roger and Howell, what's up, Roger?
Hey, Mike, a couple things. Number one, the Mets have more chance of signing Manny Fernandez than they do have Manny Machado.
Okay.
Number two, the reason I am optimistic about the Mets, though, is because none of them, bar even Cespedes, has hit their stride yet. Not Frazier, not Conforto, certainly not Bruce. When they start to hit, they'll be a lot better off. And I don't believe that the entire team is going to have a down year.
That's fair.
Yeah. And the other thing is, as far as the gambling goes, I'm all in favor of sportsbook. But one of the worst things they ever did was allow that online gambling for like the slots and everything like this. That's really just taking advantage of people that shouldn't have been taken advantage of. That's it.
I don't know about. To me, I don't see Has that been successful, Mons, in Jersey? That online slot stuff that they do, that online gambling table game stuff online. To me, there's no appeal to that.
No, I haven't seen a lot of positivity towards it.
I don't see that working online. Playing roulette or playing cards online. Somehow I don't see that working to any real level. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's done better than I thought. But I would think people like to go there and be in the action if they're going to do that, rather than do that. Well, a sports bet, you still got the game. I mean, it's a different deal. Hector in Washington Heights. What's up, Hector?
Hey, Mike. How you doing? Thanks for taking the call.
What's up?
Hey, I can't believe what I just heard from Sandy. I mean, first of all, he put a terrible team together. But to stand up there, and I wonder if he had a straight face when he's going to tell me that someone with a quad injury is not running more risk of getting hurt by keeping on running and playing on the leg. I don't understand why we don't put Cespedes on the DL. It seems like the Mets, no matter what they do, they revamp training staff, they fire trainers. It's like they always in the past.
Well, they said now his injury is the hip flexor. That's what they reported today. It's not the quad. They say it's a mild strain of the hip flexor.
Well, that's another thing, Mike. It changes every other day. So what is it? Is it the quad?
I don't know. You're right. It does change every other day. With Cespedes, every day is a different injury. I totally agree. I can't keep up with Cespedes and his injuries. Alex in Massapequa. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good. What's happening?
I was just wondering, you think this is an opportunity for Clint Frazier to win an outfield job, or is this just going to be a brief call-up?
I don't think it's an opportunity for him to win an everyday job yet, but he could really make people take notice. He also could really up his trade value, which I think is very high anyway. I think people like him. I think he could make the Yankees. He could fight to get noticed and get himself in the mix, and maybe take the See, the Austin job is going to change anyway because the one difference is Austin plays first base. If Bird comes back, Austin goes to the minors. Walker's going to stay because Walker plays multiple positions. He plays first, second, and third. He also is a veteran bat, and he's also done very well of late. And to me, Walker has a job here that I think is very positive and can be very useful because he can do a lot of different things, and I think he's to a point where he'd just like to win a championship. I'll tell you what I don't think is a given. I don't think it's a given Andujar's a third baseman all year yet. I don't think Andujar's earned the job. I think Torres is a lock. He's going to be at second base, I think, forever. Okay? I don't think Andujar has automatically won the job lock, stock, and barrel yet. I think he's got to keep hitting. And if you notice, his hitting has not been that good over his last 50, 60 at-bats. It's been a little more inconsistent. It hasn't been overwhelming. He's got power, we know that. But his numbers have not been unbelievably good. Now, Austin, after showing some power, has done nothing. Austin's numbers have just gone in the tank. He's 0 for 22 from 0 for 22 with I think 14 strikeouts during that time. So you're not getting anything out of him. As far as Andujar, again, last 15 games, only 3 RBIs. 16 for 59, which is not bad. It's 270, but just 3 ribbies. That's it. And he's had a lot of RBI chances, and his on-base percentage is way down. He does not walk. His on-base percentage is he's hitting for the year. He's hitting 276 and 282, and his on-base percentage is like 290. I mean, the guy doesn't walk at all. He's walked just a handful of times on the season. He's walked 3 times, I think, this year. 3 times. So he does not walk at all. So, that's something you got to take into account because then you got to really, the only way you're going to keep your on-base percentage over 300 is to hit 300 if you're not going to walk. I got something from Eddie on the Mets. Let me get to that. This is from Eddie. Cespedes had an MRI this morning. Mild strain of the quad. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Eddie just tells me now mild strain of the quad. I have the official thing from the Mets, which says that he has a strain of the hip flexor. So which one is it? Mild strain of the hip flexor, available to pinch hit. This is from Eddie. Mild strain of the quad, out of the lineup day to day. I would not expect him till Friday. Is it the hip flexor? Is it the quad? I give up. I mean, every time I look, it's a different injury with Cespedes. Wheeler tomorrow, DeGrom Friday, Matt Saturday, Syndergaard Sunday. That from Eddie. Now, I'm going with Eddie in the quad because I thought it was the quad anyway, and I'm going to pass on this hip flexor stuff I see on the sheet. It's Eddie's got quad. I'm going to go with Eddie on the quad. So I'm jumping over to Eddie on the quad, and I'm passing on the hip flexor. Although the hip flexor is on the sheet. But the mild strain of the hip flexor available to pinch hit tonight is on the sheet. But I'm going to go with Eddie in the quad. What do you think? Quad? Hip flexor? I think we go quad.
Money's on the quad.
We'll go quad. And we'll drop the hip flexor. That's it. We'll trade the hip flexor for a quad. That's it. Ian in Belmore. What's up, Ian?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good. What's happening?
My grandma has a strained hip flexor at the age of 85, so let's go with the quad.
Okay, let's go with the quad.
So, 2 things. So, one, do you think you're going to come down to Monmouth Park maybe now that there's some sports gambling? Do something down there. I think you'd get a great turnout.
Who go to Monmouth Park? Me?
I'm saying you.
I don't know. Maybe. Listen, I like the people at Monmouth Park. I like the people at Monmouth. I know the people who run the track. They're wonderful people, and it's a gorgeous track. It's one of the cleanest tracks I've ever seen in my life. It's a beautiful place to go. You could take your family there on the weekend. It's like a resort. First of all, it's like being at the beach anyway. It's kind of right there. It's a beautiful track. It's bright. It's cheery. It's not dreary. It's like a lot of white and green and flowers. It's in beautiful shape. The people there are nice. It's a nice day. It really is. It's a nice place to visit. So, yes, I always like Monmouth Park. The one thing about Monmouth Park and me is I never win there. I can't stand the racing. I'm out of my element there. I cannot win at Monmouth. I don't go there maybe once a year. I never remember doing well at Monmouth. I've shipped horses down for stake races and lost. I've never won anything at Monmouth. So, that's why I never do anything there. I can't.
Bet the speed.
I can't. I even have bread and I can't win at Monmouth. It's unbelievable.
You got to just bet on Paco and Joey Bravo.
That's what I guess so. But I can't win. I just can't win. I got bread and I can't win at Monmouth. It's unbelievable. When I go there, I lose every time. I never win at Monmouth Park. Never.
It is a nice track, though.
Thank God it's not like that at Saratoga. I'd be in trouble. But, I'm out of my element when I'm not at Saratoga or Belmont. So I'm not great on out-of-town tracks anyway. I'm very good on our tracks. Saratoga, Belmont, even Aqueduct, although I don't bet Aqueduct that much. But I'm not great. The only track I like out of town where I do really well is Keeneland. I like Keeneland. I do very well at Keeneland.
Not Golden Gate Fields?
I don't bet that. But, the only one I have to admit I've done well at the fairgrounds. The couple of times at the Super Bowl I went to the fairgrounds on Saturday, I've had a couple of big days at the fairgrounds. So I've done well there. Thanks to Dallas Stewart, who gave me a big tip one day when I was in the paddock with him. So he had a horse in the stake and gave me a big tip. So that was a big day, but day before the Super Bowl one year. And we won a bet on a grass stake. I don't remember what the horse's name was, but his horse won. He was like 21-1 or something. So I can't remember what the name of it was, but the day before the Super Bowl one year when it was in New Orleans. And the fairgrounds is a nice little track. I like the fairgrounds. But Monmouth's beautiful. I can't win. They give you one of those, what they call them, the Petier boxes, those boxes where they have all, it's a beautiful thing. They got TVs in there. They got a little table in there. They got flowers. It's really nice. It's a beautiful place. You should go visit it. But for me, I just can't win. Jake in Piscataway. What's up, Jake?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's
Hey,
happening?
you think with the new sports betting, you think that they could start taking action on Mets injuries and where they're injured?
Absolutely. I think we can do, it's 2-1, it's a quad. It's 3-1, it's a hip flexor. And that's basically it. 4-1, he's playing golf. That's it. Mike in Tom's River. What's up, Mike?
Mike, let me tell you, I couldn't be happy you're back. And I had the thrill in November 15th to meet you and your family and have Jackson take the picture of me. If you remember, my son kind of messed up on the picture, and you had Jackson. You were standing behind me.
Where was this?
At the Tiller Center. You were standing behind me, if you remember. I was in a sitting position.
I took a lot of pictures that night, but I'll take your word for it.
I was in a wheelchair. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got a good picture. So thank you for going.
It came out great, thanks to your son.
Yeah, Jack's a good photographer. But thank you for that. I'm glad you had a good time.
And I had a great conversation with your wife, told her how happy I was to meet you, and it was a wonderful evening, and I couldn't be happier you're back.
Well, thank you.
I know you don't like talking about other shows. I just want to tell you something real quick.
No other shows. We're not talking about that. Go ahead. Okay. What else is on your mind?
Okay.
Go ahead. No other shows.
What I wanted to say to you is, you and I always think pretty much the same with the Yankees, and with Hicks, when he gets up at bat, I got to tell you, it's like I felt the same way for a long time. I'm almost willing to give Frazier a spot left and just see, because I never feel good that he's going to really...
Either do I. But, he's a good fielder. He's a very good fielder. He plays a good center field. Okay, we know that. You can't knock his defense. He's got a good arm. He's got a great arm. He's a very good fielder. He's not a good offensive player. He's not. And I don't like him in the spot where he impacts the lineup, where they're going to walk Sanchez to pitch to him, and he leaves small villages on base. Now tonight they put him in a one hole. They put him in the leadoff spot, which surprises me. But they're giving Cardi the night off, so they put him in the one hole, and he's just not a leadoff hitter, especially against left-handed pitching, where this year his on base percentage is like 12. But that's where he is. Derek in Sands Point. What's up, Derek?
Hey, Mike. Glad to have you.
Thank you. What's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
yes.
Derek.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
How's everything? Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Mike, I just want to touch on the Cano situation.
Go ahead.
That he's taken. It's a lot of people, bodybuilders, they use it, I guess, to kind of basically get the water out of their system. So if that's the case, then he's probably taken something because,
they accuse them of using it as a masking agent. This comes to me from the Cano camp, okay? This is what it says. Now, you can believe it, not believe it, that Cano took it for high blood pressure and for a panic attack. Now, that's his point. That's not their point. They say this is according to the MLB rules. The presence of a diuretic or masking agent in a player's urine specimen shall be treated as a positive test if the IPA determines that the player intended to avoid detection of his use of another prohibited substance. Now, I don't know what the other substance is. The Cano camp saying there wasn't another substance. They said that he was taking, according to this comes from his people, that high blood pressure, took it for a high blood pressure and a panic attack. Now, you can believe him, not believe him. I don't know if it's telling the truth or not. I'm just giving you what was sent to me from Robinson's people. I don't know if it's true or not true. I have no way of knowing. It doesn't matter. The drug is on there, so the drug is outlawed. It's a diuretic. He says it was in some blood pressure medicine he took. That's fine, but it is an illegal drug. He has to pay the consequences. He's got to know what he can take and what he can't take. The people who give him stuff have to know what he can take and what he can't take. They're saying he used it to mask another drug. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But that's now he's got to pay the consequences, which is 80 games. Back after this.